Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00. It's Wednesday, which means it's time to look at some weapons. So welcome back to the Armory, where all weapons from Halo lore will be featured and analysed in detail, and today we take a closer look at the Cindershot. Let's begin. The Cindershot is part of the advanced Forerunner arsenal. It represents their mastery of hard light and energy-based weaponry, designed to annihilate foes with precision and overwhelming force. The Cindershot features a sleek metallic frame with glowing energy conduits, showcasing the Forerunner's advanced technological craftsmanship. The Cindershot is a splinter munitions launcher that provides lethal options for both close and long-range engagements. In close quarters, the Cindershot is typically used as what is effectively a hard-light grenade launcher, sending hypercharged packets of splinter cores bounding towards a target before detonating with a sizable and deadly blast radius. Its long-range capability, however, is what showcases the Cindershot's true breadth of value. When zoomed in, the splinter core is fired and tracked, allowing the wielder to guide the projectile to its target with deadly accuracy. This weapon features a backdraft variant employing a modified firing core with a 3-phase sequential detonation. The Cindershot was constructed in the Forerunner assembler vats, which were nanofabrication facilities utilised by the Forerunners to construct all manner of tools and structures used by the Ecumene. Assemblers ranged in size and complexity from very small machines used to manufacture personal items to, moon-sized foundries capable of constructing entire shield worlds and space stations. The Forerunner assembler vats, rating on the smaller side of the assembler vat designations, function by using instructions and construction templates on how to build various items that were ultimately fed into the assemblers for mass replication in the form of a design seed constructed by a pattern weaver. Due to their nanoscale construction using smart matter, items created in the assembly vats can be replicated down to the atom, allowing them to create items with perfect forms and symmetry, meaning that every single Cindershot ever constructed is exactly the same down to the atomic scale. The Cindershot fires ionized particle grenades consisting of hypercharged splinter cores. These are basically hard-light grenades that contain individually housed and isolated cores of ionized particles. Upon firing, the hard-light casing remains intact until later in the projectile's travel, at which point it fragments and releases its splinter cores, which can impact and ricochet off of surfaces, but any contact with biological targets causes some varying degree of damage, until the splinter core depletes and release a sudden energetic burst of ionized particles, which severely damage the target. In the scoped mode of the weapon, the projectiles can effectively be directed and homed on a target by the user. Hardlight is an exotic material brought about by the interactions of normally massless particles of light, the photon, and a mass-assigning boson of indescript nature. The interaction gives rise to photons that have mass. The very nature of light travelling at the speed of light and being incapable of impacting solid objects and causing damage, destruction, fission or fusion is only possible due to this lack of mass. Suddenly assigning mass to photons means that they no longer pass seamlessly through mediums like the vacuum of space, gases and liquids. In fact, they actually displace other particles and molecules in their field. These sophisticated optical projection systems emit a dense field of mass-laden photons that shove the air clear of their path, and the sheer density and mass of the projectiles renders them solid enough to interact with other objects passing over the field. Within this, overcharged electromagnetic cores are generated, which then contain the ionized particles for the grenades within. Upon firing, the hardlight keeps the initial projectile intact before dissolving and releasing the splinter cores, which then electromagnetically decay and release their burst of ionized particles. The weapon constructs these projectiles from an energy cell that is integrated into the weapon, meaning that the weapon itself doesn't actually technically have a magazine, but instead has siphoning energy conduits. To reload the weapon need only be charged, which the Forerunners have enabled by having the weapon carry a tiny vacuum energy power plant that can effectively pull energy from the quantum foam and the normal procession of virtual particles blinking in and out of existence. This effectively gives the weapon near infinite energy supply and thus near infinite ammunition capacity, although it's worth noting that the exact mechanism by which this energy source is activated has yet to be fully understood by the UNSC, meaning the supplemental energy supply from a hard-light ammunition charge station is required. As previously mentioned, the Cindershot has a single variation, the Backdraft Cindershot. This variant features a white painted chassis and a modified firing core with 3-phase sequential detonation. It basically fires a projectile that splinters into multiple fragments, each detonating upon impact, resulting in increased damage per shot compared to the standard model. The Cindershot is extremely effective in open combat and tactical situations requiring indirect fire. It has a very high damage output, which makes it a reliable weapon for eliminating enemies and vehicles alike. And the projectiles themselves have quite a wide area of effect, carrying with them something approximating splash damage, which allows the user to handle groups of enemies quite efficiently. It does, however, come with some disadvantages. The reload can be slow, leaving you vulnerable in fast-paced combat situations. The ammunition is relatively limited on the battlefield, making reload, or rather recharge, a little bit more difficult to come across, meaning that you must manage your ammunition, particularly given that the weapon itself doesn't carry a particularly large reserve of energy, and there's always risk of self-damage. The explosive radius can harm the user in close-range engagements. The Cindershot is a standout addition to the Halo Infinite sandbox, combining creativity, strategy, and raw power. Whether you're ambushing enemies with indirect fire or leveraging its guidance system for precision strikes, this weapon is a devastating tool in the hands of a skilled Spartan. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, consider hitting the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future content, and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. It really does help the channel out significantly. Feel free to pop a comment below on anything you'd like me to cover next, and before signing off I just want to give a shout to my Patreon supporters, Spartan10148, my singular contender class ancilla, Falcon, Jordan and Poseidon, the metarchs of my facility, Sylphia, Ashley, Esoteric, Spartan 1029 and Chris Allen, my dutiful monitors, Darian, Legion, Labrat, Spartan 137, Chris, Element 0, J3, Mr. Keys, Gunslinger Cult, Evermore's Personal Devil, Scion Esports, and Saber, my diligent sub-monitors, my dominating fleet of Strato Sentinels, and my loyal enforcers, and all other patrons who continue to support the channel. I can't thank you guys enough. Big props to my Tier 0 YouTube members, Spartan 137, Talia, Fenrir, Bornstella, and Jimbo, and all other YouTube members keeping the installation running on that glorious vacuum energy. And if you really love what I'm doing here, consider supporting the channel via the links in the description. Much love, take it easy, and find peace in the domain.